Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jolene. I go by Jolene the Simmer here on YouTube, and I make mostly Sims related content. And today I thought we would try something a little bit different. It's going to be a build video. And you can see, oh, sorry, it's over here. You can see over here, I've got a picture of this house already up on the screen. So something that I do that I probably shouldn't is look at real estate listings in the city that I live in, even though my partner and I are not at all ready to buy a house right now. But I think it's something fun to do. I know it's not a great idea because sometimes you fall in love with a place and, yeah, I'm just not in a position to buy a house right now, but I do like looking at them as well from a design perspective, and a style of design that I really love is mid-century modern. And today I was, as per usual, just browsing the real estate listings, and I found this little mid-century modern bungalow. So I'm not going to be buying this house. I'm not going to be going to look at this house in person, but I am going to be trying to build it in The Sims. So I thought we would just look first of all at the inspiration photos, and I'm going to be working from these as well, so I'll probably bring them up throughout the build video as well, just to like remind us, because one thing I find with building from real estate listings, at least in my city, they don't put up like a floor plan of the house, which is fine. I mean, most people don't have that probably for their home, but it does mean that we have to kind of like piece the floor plan together by looking through the photos. So I thought we would just do like a quick look at all the photos first to show you what I'm thinking about doing, and then we'll jump over into The Sims and we'll start building. So this is obviously the exterior of the house. There's a breezeway here. There's this weird, well, I shouldn't say weird, that's very judgy. There's a wall here at the back, and this just leads into the backyard. So it's got these windows in it, which is kind of interesting. I think what I'm going to be doing with this video is trying to recreate it as close to its existing state as possible, although once I get building, I probably will want to do like kind of a dream version. If this was my house and I had infinite money, I might use the breezeway to build an extension, although like that would obviously depend on the state the roof and the walls were in, and like whether that was even something that was feasible. I've never owned a house. I've never done any renovations before. I have been watching a lot of home shows, and what I've come to learn is that they cost a lot of money and there's always something going wrong. So that would be probably a huge project, but just something that we could do very easily in The Sims is close this wall in and add some extra bedrooms or something like that. But yeah, that's the exterior. There's a nice prominent fireplace here in the front, and these like gorgeous windows that I love, which is very mid-century. So we'll get on into the house. So this is the dining room. I love the exposed beams. I love the huge windows. I love the floors. It looks like the floors have maybe been redone. I don't think they're the original hardwoods, but they're in a very nice wood tone that matches all the trim and the beams, which is really nice. A lot of the times when I look at these mid-century modern houses, they're not in the greatest shape, and this one does seem like it's been taken care of, which is nice. So this is the living room area. This beam is like the side of the dining room, and this is that fireplace that you can see from the front, and then there's kind of like a long open area. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the floor plan the same way. The dining room is right beside the kitchen, which obviously makes sense, but if this was my house, I might want the living room area to be in these big windows at the front, but maybe once I get furniture in there and I play around with it, I will decide that this layout makes the most sense, but just something that I'm thinking of at the moment. I love this like paneled wall. I obviously wouldn't want my whole house to be paneled, but I love this feature. I feel like it like goes so nicely with all the beams. And then looking back towards the front door, these built-in details as well, like this wall with the built-in shelf, and then this wall with the like textured window. All this stuff makes me so excited. And then over here there's like a little built-in bar in the dining room, which is so cute. I love that as well. So this is a view from the dining room, so you can start to see the kitchen here. It's not a very big kitchen, it's sort of a galley style kitchen. I thought about what if we opened it up, but the thing is I really love this paneled wall. So, and I think that this keeps a lot of the like mid-century modern character of the house. So I don't think this would be the kind of house where you would do an open floor plan kitchen reno. So yeah, if that was what you wanted in your life, then this probably wouldn't be the house for you. And I also really love the built-in bar, and I wouldn't want to mess that up either. I just think that's such a cool feature. So galley style kitchen, obviously not ideal. The kitchen looks like it was maybe redone at some point because it doesn't look very mid-century anymore, although it does have this built-in oven stove over here, and then the countertop. I never know what the two pieces are called. I've only ever lived in places that have the two pieces attached to each other. So this is like the stove top, I guess, and this is the oven over here, and then the hood above there, and then like just a 90s dishwasher and 90s countertops and that kind of stuff. So I might want to do like a more mid-century looking cabinetry in here when I build it. So I guess I've already decided we're going a little off book, just because the kitchen is the only part that feels like less mid-century than the rest of the house. I also don't love these floors. But then there's a little door over here that goes out into the breezeway. So this is probably the main door they use, like if they're driving to get groceries and stuff, they'd be bringing them in this way. And then there's a little credenza here, and I think around the corner this goes to a hallway to the bedrooms and stuff. So there's just another view of that entryway there. Another view of the kitchen, looking back out towards the dining room, unfinished basement. And then this is one of the bedrooms. I can't tell from the photos if there are any closets in the bedrooms. This one has 2 dressers in it, and they don't show any closets, so if there are closets, they're probably very small. So there's just 2 bedrooms, the bathroom. I love this yellow tile. If this was my house, I would probably keep this, although it made me very sad to notice that there are what looks like 3 tiles missing here. And I imagine trying to find an exact match to this tile is not that easy. So that's too bad. A nice big mirror, pretty standard bathroom, but I like the yellow tile. I think that's very cute. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't like that, but it's kind of my vibe. And then there's an office here, or a 3rd bedroom, and then there's like a sunroom off the back. So this is a sunroom. I would live in this room. And then there's a small deck off the sunroom, and then a huge backyard. A little fire pit. I would love this backyard. My partner would love this backyard as well. So this door over here is like the door into the breezeway, and then it looks like there's maybe like a bit of a concrete patio over here with some seating and stuff, and then like the big grassy area with the fence. And you can see it's kind of like near the river on sort of like a peninsula type space. So that's the location. It's a little further out of the center of the city than I would like to live, which is part of the reason why I wouldn't buy this house. But I was looking around on Street View, and there are so many mid-century modern houses in this neighborhood. So maybe as I get older, I'll feel less attached to the center of the city. Part of the problem is the city I live in has terrible transit. Like, we have buses, but they don't run that regularly. You have to make a lot of transfers. We don't have any kind of like train or anything that's really like slick and easy to get around. So most people drive. And my partner and I have a car, and we do use it for most things, which makes me sad because like the gas and the environment and stuff. But that's why I like being right in the center of the city, because then I can walk most places and I don't have to be so dependent on the car. And I feel like the further out you get, you just need your car just so much more. But so that was a tangent that has nothing to do with the house or the build. So yeah, that's the house. I think now I'm gonna open up the game and pick out a lot to build this on, and we're gonna start building. So I'll see you there. What I have done so far, I actually started on a smaller lot, and I was just trying to get the floor plan down, and I was running out of space, so I moved to this larger lot. So all I've done so far is just lay out the basic floor plan. So the scale is a little bit weird in The Sims, and obviously some of it I have to guess a little bit, but this is a pretty close, I think, approximation of the floor plan. Over here, this is the chimney breast up front there, so that's where the fireplace is going to be. This is going to be the front of the house. Obviously, I haven't put the roof line on yet, but this is going to be the breezeway area here. And then dining room here, living room area here. Sorry, this wall shouldn't be here. Get rid of that. So this is the galley kitchen through here. This is the little entryway that goes out onto the breezeway. Then there's like a little nook here, and then this is the hallway. One of the bedrooms is here, only bathroom is here. Then we have the larger bedroom in the back here, and this is the office, and then the sunroom, and then this is obviously the backyard here. Okay, so the first thing that we did was the chimney at the front of the house, and right now I'm just looking for which chimney I actually want to use inside of the chimney breast, and I'm just changing the height a little bit there, and now I'm looking for a paneling that matches what the walls were like. And making the roof, obviously, trying to get the angles right, and roofing the sunroom at the back. I think I changed the roof a few times. I was happy with how the angles were looking until I started doing the windows, and then the angled windows that I have, they're CC, and they obviously only line up with a very specific pitch of roof, so I ended up having to change the pitch of the roof just to make the windows look a little bit more natural. And I played around with doing the chimney different sizes to try to figure out how I wanted to get it all balanced. Here I'm starting to do the windows, and then I start fiddling around with the roofs again and doing roof trim and just trying to get them all lined up with each other. I really love these windows. I can't remember which CC creator made those. I will link it in the description down below, but I especially love these ones that I'm using here because they're white trim on the outside and then brown on the inside, which was perfect for this build because it has so much like visible brown woodwork on the inside, but on the outside the windows were I can't remember actually if they were white or blue, the trim, but I went with the white because blue was not an option. But yeah, so I like how they have that two-toned option because it makes it a lot easier to actually create something that is more true to life than you can normally create in The Sims. So I ended up adding, like, there's more windows here than there is in the original build, but that was just because of the size of windows that I had. Yeah, like I didn't have as wide of windows as they have in the original build, so I just kind of did like 2 windows per section. Adding a little corbel detail in the original build, there was some nice beams coming out of the front, so I was trying to recreate that as well. Putting the doors in the breezeway, fiddling with the windows on the inside, and now I'm putting in the beams. So in the original build, the beams actually angle up with the ceiling, but as far as I know, there's no way to do that in The Sims, so I've just done straight across beams, but as you saw in the pictures at the beginning, the original had beams that go angled up with the roof. Yeah, so I'm adding in those 2 little built-in sections in the in the living room here and the paneled wall. I play around for a little bit with different colors of paneling. I'm not even sure which one I ended up staying with. I was trying to get it so that like the beams and the walls and all the woodwork were all the same sort of tone, and they kind of had like a reddish wood in the original build, so that's kind of like the tone that I went with. But yeah, it was hard to find an exact match. Obviously we just have what we have in The Sims and we kind of have to make do with that, so yeah. Just changing it around and shuffling things down, adding some lights so I can see what I'm doing. And one thing that was not shown in the listing at all was where the access to the basement was. But just from like looking at the photos, I realized that it was probably, you can see in the middle of the build here, I've got like a long skinny rectangle, and that's where I put the stairs down to the basement, because when I was looking at the kitchen, I was wondering why the wall was so deep, like on where the built-in bar is in the dining room, and then it only has like one layer of cabinets in the kitchen, and it's a very thin galley style kitchen. So I decided there was probably room for the stairs to be there, and there weren't any pictures of hallways or anything like that, so I'm almost certain that's where the stairs are, but I never went to actually see this house in person, so I can't ever know for sure, but I'm pretty certain that that's where they must be. So here I'm trying to look for a window or something to mimic that kind of like wavy glass that was here, and then when I found this wall decoration, it was like the right texture of glass, which I was really excited about because obviously we don't have any windows that are this texture, so I'm just putting it there over the gap to make it sort of look like a window. it is like mounted a little off the wall because it's actually an art piece and not an actual window, but I just loved how it was actually the right texture, so that was very exciting. So here I'm again second guessing my choices of paneling color and stuff, fiddling around with the dimensions of the rooms to try to make them make a little bit more sense. They didn't really show the entryway in any of the pictures of the house, so I kind of like made that up a little bit, but it's on the side of the living room. So yeah, I don't know if I end up changing that back to how wide it was before, or if that's, yeah, I think we might actually leave it like that. So I made the living room a little bit wider and the kitchen a little bit thinner, but I may change that back. I'm not totally sure. Yeah, so there I was working on the built-ins in the living room. Now I'm working on the dining room over here, looking for some mid-century modern chairs. I have a lot of great mid-century modern CC because it's a style that I'm really interested in. So I have a lot of stuff that fits the style of this house, but sometimes finding it is tough because with CC and with in-game stuff, honestly, sometimes stuff gets sorted in a weird place and it's not where I would expect it to be. And I know that I have like credenzas or side tables that are in the right style, but I just like have such a hard time finding them. So now I'm just putting up some art obviously in the dining room there, looking for a piece that suited the room. And in the original house there was a chair that looked exactly like that black chair in the corner, and it had a plant sitting on top of it, so I was gonna recreate that, and then I played around with just putting a plant there instead of having a chair with a plant on it, but I ended up keeping that chair just because that was like exactly like the chair that was in the original, and trying to find some light fixtures that match in the dining room. Oh yeah, so we do shift this all back over. As you can probably already tell from this video, I changed my mind a lot while I was working on this project and fiddled around with things to try to get them just so. Here I've added a little platform for the fireplace, but I think I end up taking that away after I choose a fireplace that sort of has a stone, what's the bottom part of the fireplace called? I can't remember, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going through all the fireplaces. There wasn't really one that was exactly like the one in the original house. The fireplace was basically like a hole in that brick wall that was really indented, but we don't really have anything that works like that in The Sims, and even my CC ones, there was nothing really quite the same. So I went with this one because it has a similar brick color and it has the stone hearth. The hearth, that's what it's called. Yeah, and so there was a cool light fixture in the corner above this chair by the fireplace, so I'm just looking for something to approximate that and trying out a bunch of different options, trying to figure out what style I want to go with. I think we go with this or something very similar to it because it was the closest I could find to the original design. And that rocking chair in the house, in the listing, there was a clear mid-century modern rocking chair in that exact spot, and I didn't have a clear swatch, but I thought I would go with a colored one because it was very similar, and it even had like a blanket or something like hanging on it just like this one does, so I thought that was pretty cool. And here I'm trying to match the plants that they had. There was kind of like a really skinny twiggy plant beside the TV there, so I'm trying to decide if I have anything that's similar, or like looking for something that I can use there instead. And they had in the house, they had a couch just like this, a gray sectional, which is not very mid-century modern, but at this point, I'm mostly going with trying to match it as closely to what was actually there. And because I was finding this build was taking me a long time and I was second-guessing my decisions a lot, I found just kind of trying to match it as closely to the pictures was easier because I didn't have to think as much about my design choices. I just had to find the thing that was as close as possible to the original. So here I'm making that cool little built-in bar that was off of the dining room. I couldn't really make it exactly the same because as you saw in the pictures at the beginning of the video, the bar itself is like fully in the wall, and it's kind of like a little indent halfway up the wall. But yeah, I found using a piece of cabinet and then some shelves and bar accessories was the closest I could approximate it. So you'll see here in the kitchen I've already gone off script because I'm using this nice terrazzo flooring, which is pretty mid-century. The original kitchen had that ugly linoleum and I wasn't a fan of it, and we didn't really have a great match for that linoleum either, so I thought it was a good opportunity in the kitchen to do sort of my dream version of the kitchen, sort of as if my partner and I had bought this house and then the kitchen would have been the one thing I would have wanted to renovate, because pretty much the rest of the house was very traditional mid-century, and the kitchen just felt very 90s. So not that we can afford a kitchen reno necessarily, but that's would have been my future project that I would have done. So yeah, I have these yellow cabinets in here right now, but I end up changing them right now for these. I think these are by either Felix and Harry or Harry themselves, because this one has the built-in oven, which was in the house, so I wanted to represent that, and this set is really cool because it gives you that option to do that. So yeah, so I end up changing it for these cabinets, and I actually like them better. I like wood, especially like these nice wood tones. So yeah, so we go with a nice upgraded version of the kitchen, but still the same layout and the same features with the built-in oven and the stovetop on the counter. And I'm just adding some clutter items here to make it feel a little bit more lived in the kitchen. And now I'm throwing down the flooring and starting on the bedrooms. So the bedrooms weren't very big, and it was impossible to tell from the pictures if there were closets in the bedrooms. So I just did very simple decor, just kind of like side tables and dressers in both bedrooms, curtains and windows, and yeah, just tried to match it as closely to what was there in the pictures from the listing. So this is the bigger bedroom. One is at the back of the house, and it's the one that had 2 dressers in the listing photo. And then we're doing the bathroom. I was so excited that I had this tile because I thought this was a pretty close match to the tile that was in the original bathroom. So I was very excited to see that. And here, as you can see, I'm just kind of reworking the floor plan a little bit because I realized I had made the bathroom bigger than it needed to be. So I thought I would give that space back to the bedroom beside the bathroom. I love these lights, but I find whenever I use them, they really overexpose the room. I think they're just coded in a way that they're too bright, in my opinion, which is such a shame because aesthetically I love them and I use them all the time, and then I usually end up taking them out and replacing them with a different light fixture just because they are so bright. And the bathroom did have like a built-in closet area, so I built that here, and I just put like some shelving, like storage for towels and the kind of stuff you'd want to have in the bathroom. And here we're working on the second bedroom, trying to pick out some art for the wall. I really love that piece. I love the colors in that one, and trying to match the plants that were in there as closely as possible. There was a plant stand that looked very much like that in the corner, so that's why I'm using that one there. And then I realized I had oriented the room in the wrong direction based on where the window was, so I just shifted it all over. And now I'm doing the office that was in the back, and again, just trying to keep the furniture pretty much as close to what they had in the listing photos as possible. I did add this candle station just because there was a lot of room in the office, and I figured it would be a good place to put some skill building items for your Sims. So obviously, if you were using this house, you could replace that with whatever kind of craft or skill you wanted your Sim to develop, but I just thought the candle building station kind of fit in well in this room, and it looked like something that might be in this office. And then I'm moving on to the sunroom here on the back of the house, trying to find a rug that was similar to the one in the original build. And I don't usually use carpet in my builds, but the sunroom had kind of like a beige carpet as its base, so I used a beige carpet. And just trying to get the windows right and the angles of everything so that it looks good. Changing it around a bit. And then I think eventually I do raise this up on a bit of a foundation, because there is a little deck off of the sunroom with some steps down to the backyard. And again, trying to match the furniture just as closely as possible to what they did have in the actual house that we were basing this off of. And yeah, I think I'm really happy with how this build all turned out. I feel like it's very close to the original, with some like very small changes, and the changes that I made are things that I would probably want to change with the house in real life. Yeah. I think now I'm looking for cars in debug to put in the breezeway. And yeah, I just added a little foundation there and the deck off the back. And then the backyard was it kind of like sloped down towards the river and away from the house. So I'm trying to kind of mimic that here by using the terrain tools to make it lower in the back, which is really how it was. Like the foundation was a lot higher at the back of the house than in the front, so I found making the backyard lower like this really helped it to feel as much like the original house as possible. I think the backyard is probably a little bit bigger than this, but obviously like the lot is only so big, so I was a bit limited by that, but I think it's fairly close to the size of the actual backyard, just based on how much space there is for different areas. Like we've got the stone patio, you can see I just put that down, and then the fire pit area. And here I'm trying to find trees as similar to the ones that are there as possible, but I had a hard time finding trees that looked anything like the ones that were there, so I'm looking through debug as well. I used this one tree a couple of times because it looked the most similar to the trees that were in the actual setting, and just doing the flower bed in the front yard there. And I think we might honestly almost be done. I think we're just gonna add these cars, and then I think that's pretty much the house. Okay, so this is the house. So obviously this is the front. You can see along the side of the breezeway there that I've got some doors. So on the actual house there's kind of like built-in storage on the side of the breezeway, so I've put that there, so that's kind of where they would keep their camping gear, their fishing rods, like any kinds of like storage stuff. We're gonna head on into the house and take a look around. So I guess we're going in the side door here through the breezeway, but I will also show you, well, both of the doors are on the side, but we'll also show you the other entrance. So if we come in this way, little entryway here, and there's a little credenza over here with the espresso machine. We've got the galley kitchen here with the built-in oven and the stovetop there. Oh, we've got some flowers peeking in the dining room, but here's the dining room. You can see those lovely windows. We've got the beams going across here, and over here's the fireplace. In the living room area, we've got the record player set up there. We've got the built-in bar over here, and this is the living room space over here with the sofa, TV. We've got these built-in shelving units over here. So this is what I did for the entryway. There weren't any pictures in the listing of the entryway, but I've got some storage here and places for them to hang up their coats there on that other piece. It's a little bit tight, but yeah, I just wanted to have a lot of like places where they could store stuff, put their mitts and toques and stuff like that. Yeah, so we'll go over this way down the hall. Here we've got the bathroom. Oh, one of our Sims is in there about to use the toilet, but we've got the double sinks there and the shower, and then there's storage behind this, just some like shelving there, toilet paper, stuff like that. And then if we go across the hall, we've got one of the bedrooms here. One of our Sims has just woken up, and then we've got the other bedroom through this way. Pretty standard bedroom, couple of dressers. And then through this door we've got the office, and then if we go out the door into the sunroom, we've got the lovely sunroom space here, and then a little deck leading out into the backyard. Alright, so that's the house. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know if you like this kind of video, if you want to see more build style videos in the future. Do you like mid-century modern houses? Would you buy a house in this style? Yeah, just let me know what you thought. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.